Sure isn't easy, isn't it? I looked up in Webster's dictionary the definition of humility. I thought it was pretty good. Humility, a modest or low esteem of one's own worth. A modest or low esteem of one's own worth. That's pretty good. Now, not worth like, yes, I'm a child of God, I'm not worth anything, not the kind of worth. But pride is, according to the church and Dante, you ever heard of Dante? Dante wrote that famous divine comedy, the Inferno, the Purgatorio. Some of you in literature will read that. And when Dante, it's a wonderful book. If you ever read the Divine Comedy, the book on Purgatory has Dante, well, we get to go on this journey in Purgatory. And Purgatory is this big mountain that they're climbing up to get to heaven. And so they've come out of hell, and now they're climbing this mountain. So hell's a big pit. The pit is like a cone going down. Okay? Because what Dante says is that the further we go into sinfulness, the more closed in on ourselves we get. So hell is this big pit. Right? So as you come out of the pit, you climb this big mountain. Right? And you get to the top of the mountain where you're light and free and you fly into heaven. So the base of the mountain is where it's really heavy. And so Dante calls those the 7 deadly sins, that the mountain has seven stories to it. Thomas Merton wrote his famous autobiography, The 7-Story Mountain. Have you ever read that? He's basing it on that mountain. Okay? And at the base of the mountain is the sin of pride. That pride is something that all of us as humans struggle with. And that is an over-exaggerated sense of myself. Right? But the good news is that all of these things can be countered. And Dante, in his book, always gives the remedy for these sins. And the remedy for pride is humility. Humility comes from the Latin word humus, which means earth. The earth, the ground. So humility means to be rooted or grounded. To be humble means to be grounded in what is really real. To be grounded in reality. Isn't that good? Actually, in Dante's Inferno, each of the guys, when they're going through purgatory, everybody in the different levels, they're given something to purify them. It's a type of punishment, purgation. And the guys that are struggling with pride, they have to carry giant boulders on their back. They're heaving around these giant boulders. Why? Because they need to be pressed back to the ground. Right? They need to be brought back to reality. Humility. That's what Jesus is giving to us today. Humility. For me, we could talk lots about it, but I want to give an example of humility. And that is Mary, the mother of Jesus, our Blessed Mother. I think she is an amazing example of humility. Why? Because she is grounded in what is really real and not in pride. When God's messenger, the angel Gabriel, comes to Mary, says, "Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you." She pondered what sort of greeting that might mean, but she didn't reject the greeting. Did you notice that? God said, "You're the highly favored one, and God is with you. You're filled with grace." She didn't say, "Oh no, not me. You must have mistaken me for somebody else. I can't be the one who is God's highly favored daughter," right? She didn't say that. And that's the temptation of a lot of us when somebody gives us praise that is really real. We tend to reject it. That's a false humility. False humility is disguised pride. So how I act that out is, so if God were said to me, "Hey, highly favored son," "Oh, no, not me. Compliment me some more, but oh, no, not me. I couldn't be that. Tell me more about myself and how good I am, but oh, no. I couldn't possibly be that person." Mary doesn't do that. She just simply engages the angel, asking clarifying questions, and then says, "I'm your woman. Yeah, I can do that." I can do that. That's humility. She was grounded in who she was, what her gifts were, and that wasn't pride. Pride would have been, no, not me. And that's what we see in the Old Testament with all those prophets, right? When God goes up to Jeremiah, I want you to speak to the people. Oh no, I'm too young. You certainly have somebody else in mind. And I don't mean to be making fun of them, but I'm just sort of exaggerating to make the point, right? But that's what happened over and over and over again. Oh no, not me. It must be somebody else. You can't. And there's fear in that too. Mary stands there and says, she thinks, I'm not married, so I don't know how this is going to work out because I know how you have children, and that's just not part of my plan. God's like, I'll take care of that. Okay, I'm in. Wow. That's amazing. Think about it. She's rooted, she's grounded. And that's what I want to leave you and me with today, is humility. Do you really know yourself? Do you know what your gifts really are? And are you grateful for them? There is nothing wrong with knowing what your gifts and talents are and using them. In fact, that is what humble people do, is they use them graciously. The book of Sirach today said something very profound. The greater you are, Sirach said, then the more we need to humble ourselves. The greater we are, the more we need to practice humility. Because otherwise we're going to start floating up in the sky there and become like the Pharisees, where I deserve all this and I'm the best in the world, and then we're going to end up in purgatory, the big stone on our back. Ugh. God's going to push us back to reality. Yes, we're all created in God's image and likeness, but it's God's gift. It's God working through you and me. So humility. Go for it. Be humble. And when people come to you and they compliment you on something that's really real, just simply say, thank you. That's the most humble answer you can give. That was an excellent dinner. Oh, no, it was undercooked and over that and this and that. That was a great dinner. Thank you. Actually, it was pretty good. Is that humble? I worked really hard because I care about you. Is that humble? I think so. You are really good at math. Would you help me with my math homework? Because you're really good at that. Sure, I can help you with your math homework. That's humble. Okay? And then God may call you. You have a gift in this. Will you come and serve in my vineyard in this way? Okay, like Mary, let it be. Humility. For you and for me, let's pray for it. And then watch out, because it's probably going to start happening. Right? But God bless you. May we all be humble and faithful, like Mary, our mother, that Jesus would surge through our lives. Right? That Jesus would surge through us.